My name's Scriven. I'm the site manager at Split Rock Lighthouse, and today we're remembering the crew of the Fitzgerald that went down on November 10th, 1975. This has been a great tradition that started back in the 80s. What's unique about this year is we've partnered with the Coast Guard station out of Duluth, and they're bringing up a whole crew of people, and they wanted to really showcase the connection between the Lighthouse service and the Coast Guard. They're going to have a little part in the presentation where they talk about what's happened since the Fitz went down and some of the new safety features and how their role has changed in making the lake safe. And then after that, we have our Navy hymn, which is sung by a quartet.
Eternal Father, strong to save, whose arm hath bound the restless wave, who bids the mighty ocean deep its own appointed limits keep.
Somewhere between 4:45 and 5 o'clock, we'll start ringing the bell for each of the crew members that passed away.
Nolan F. Church, Porter. Ransom E. Cundy, Watchman.
And then we turn the beacon on after that. We only light the beacon a few times a year. My first day, I always have to relate the feelings that I get every time I see the beacon on to the first time that I saw it lit, which was actually my first day here on site 4 years ago. I started on November 10th, 4 years ago, and I'd never seen the beacon on for the first time. And watching the ceremony, listening to it, and then having the light come on and just seeing the emotion that it kind of went through and had, and all the people that were here had all at the same time was really moving. And I always kind of get that same feeling of this is really a special thing. And to have it here at the lighthouse and the way the lighthouse means to everybody, it is just a extraordinary thing to witness. Every time we light it, it is always a community event, and it has that community feel to it. And it's one of the things that make it really special. Last year, we had some horrible weather. It was, 40, 50 mile sustained winds with gusts up to 70. We had rain, snow. We had waves crashing on the cliff and the spray coming up over the cliff. And it really put it in perspective. That storm wasn't as bad as what the guys went through on the Fitz that day, but it really was like, I don't even know why they got as far as they did. Afterwards, I went down and I took some pictures, and that was a lot of fun. I'd never shot in anything like that before, where it was that windy at night. And then in 2020, we held the ceremony. It was a virtual ceremony. And then we did light the beacon on the day of the event. And what was really unique about that night was I was up here by myself. And that was pretty unique for a Fitzgerald event, because usually we have 1,500 people here. And I was here by myself, just kind of making sure things were okay. I knew towards the end of the day, or the end of the night, that the lighthouse was going to go off, and it's just started to snow, and there was like just this fresh snow along the ground, and there was no footprints in it. And all of a sudden the beacon stopped, and there was this double beam that was coming out of it with the snow coming down. And I was like, man, and I quickly, I knew I didn't have a lot of time before the timer turned off on the light, and I took this picture, and I got like 2 shots off, and then the light went off. It was really moving. Yeah, it was probably my favorite photo was that one. It does really put it in perspective, and because even like after the beacon lighting, when all the guests are gone and I'm going home, the light's still going, and just sort of, it is just this really like comforting thing to see that beacon lit, because it's providing safety. Even now, when it's not an active aid, it's still doing something. Lighthouses were these beacons of safety for everybody, and for a ship to see it, they could recognize, okay, we know where we are now because of that lighthouse. It is a unique place to live, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.